Hello Badminton fans, it's Pritash from Racket Line again. We're here in October. It's the start of the season, the badminton season anyway, and we're doing a lot of stringing at the moment. I mean, we cover all the range of stringing in Racket Line, so we got tennis, squash and badminton. But what I'm going to do today is focus on badminton because the season's really kicked off now. People are starting to play matches, and really getting to swing of things. And what we see is people bringing in rackets and saying, well, my racket really should be sort of tip-top and really fit for purpose at the moment. And we're ending up sort of advising people on changing the grip and the grommets and so on. So what we're going to talk about today is the concept of a racket MOT. So what are the things that we would look for at the start of the season? Well, one of them definitely would be sort of looking at how good the strings are in terms of, have they gone soft, are they frayed? I mean, we see a lot of fraying in the strings, different wear patterns. So the last thing you want when you're playing a match, strings go on you and you're really struggling then. So we look at sort of the wear pattern on the strings, maybe look at changing the strings to a different type, a bit more power, a bit more durability if that's what you need. And another area where people don't really sort of think about too much is the grommets. I mean, ladies and gentlemen, they're only made of sort of very soft plastic and they tend to wear. And people often forget that it's almost no point stringing the racket if you haven't looked at the grommets first. Now, Racket Line, what we do is we sort of carefully check the grommets to make sure that any of them are still okay, they're intact, they haven't got sort of jagged edges, they are missing, so the string ends up contacting the body and just breaking them. So that's one thing we'll check carefully. So that's an area which is generally overlooked. The other thing we look for, make sure there's no sort of cracks anywhere in the frame. Is it starting to go? Is it time to look at maybe changing the racket, because the chances are when we take the strings out and there's a major crack in it, it'll go. And the other area which most players look at is the grip. So, I mean, do we end up with a very tired grip that's sort of covered in grease and very difficult to hold and slipping out of your hand? So we look at sort of advice on what type of grip to change. Are we going to look at doing over grips which are very thin and don't make the handle thicker, or are we going to look at a thicker grip depending on what sort of thing that you'd like to actually use? Now, what we're doing at Racket Line is a set price on what we call a racket MOT for badminton. So for the one-off price of $19.99, you're going to include a grip, complete re-grommet and the string of your choice. That's all included in the price at $19.99, so you can cover everything in one go. You can be ready for the season, and you're good to go, and you've got peace of mind. The grommets aren't going to break the string. You've got a grip that's going to last for probably most of the season, and everything's sorted in one go. So ladies and gentlemen, at Racket Line, the Racket MOT, $19.99, string of your choice, grip and a complete re-grommet. And that's only at Racket Line.